You see publisher logos everywhere and you know they make a lot of money. But what do mobile game publishers actually do? I worked with a few publishers and trust me, it's way more than just money. Hey everyone, today we'll talk about what mobile game publishers do, how they make money, what cut they take, and whether you even need one. Let's dive into it. You're the developer, you build the game, the publisher handles the business side, funding, marketing, launch strategy, user acquisition, distribution, and app stores, all the stuff most mobile game developers can do alone or don't have time for. Publishers can be huge like Voodoo or small indie-focused teams. A good publisher shapes how your mobile game gets made, seen, and played. I got my first publisher in 2020 when my first mobile game got noticed. This publisher helped me with distribution and marketing. I just gave them the game and supplied marketing materials like trailers, screenshots, icon, that was it. Then I started getting offers from other publishers. So far I have few contracts here and there for publishing my games on different platforms, even pre-installed on some Android phones. I still get some revenue from those deals years after releasing. Not much, but still okay for doing nothing. But the first publisher that I actually started making games together with and was getting paid for it, that was in 2023, and that experience was totally different. I made a few prototypes for the publisher. Each took me a month's working solo, and I was getting paid for each of them. Unfortunately, none of those prototypes got the publisher's green light for developing further. But I like the idea of getting paid for games I just started making, not the already made ones. Some ideas were mine, others were publishers. Then I worked with another publisher already working in a team. We also made a few prototypes and one of our games actually got the green light and was published this year, which is awesome. So let me break down what publishers actually do during development. The biggest thing is the money. Mobile game development is expensive, and most indie devs can't fund a full game themselves. But before we continue, I wanted to tell that this video is sponsored by Tech. It's an interactive code and learning platform where you learn by actually writing code, not just by watching tutorials. As you know, I use C# regularly in my Unity projects, but I wanted to see how their learning process actually works. So I created an account and went through their onboarding. First, they ask you to pick up which language you want to learn, and they have a lot of options: Java, Python, C++, SQL, JavaScript. I picked C# just to see their approach. Then they ask your experience level. I selected complete beginner because I wanted to go through the full experience from the start to understand how they teach. And this is what I really liked. You start coding immediately. There is no watch 3 hours of theory before you can touch code. The content is broken down into these small milestones. My first one was writing Hello World. Very simple, but the point is you're writing actual C# code from minute 1. The lessons are bite-sized, so you're never overwhelmed with too much information at once. The interface is super clean and intuitive. Everything is where you'd expect it to be. But what genuinely surprised me is how they gamify the entire learning process. You have daily goals to complete, you earn XP for each lesson. There are weekly challenges, even a leaderboard if you're competitive. And honestly, it works. It makes you want to come back and keep that streak going. It turns learning into something that feels more like a game than studying. So if you're someone who wants to learn programming or pick up a new language, and you learn better by doing rather than just watching, check out Tech. The link is in the description of the video. Check it out. Alright, now let's get back to the publishers. Publishers cover the cost and in exchange take a cut of your revenue later. They set budgets, approve spending, and watch how you use it. They break your project into milestones, finishing a prototype, getting ready for soft launch, and scaling. They constantly check progress, give feedback, analyze the previous versions, etc., and they pay you. This keeps you on track. Publishers often have opinions on mechanics that affect player retention, art style, monetization strategy, also giving support for making creative ads for your game, or even having other teams making those for you. This can be good because they've seen hundreds of mobile games, they know what works. But if they are too controlling, your game loses its soul. But that's typical, as in the end it's a business and all of the parties want to make it a profitable one. They also handle quality assurance. Bug testing, performance checks on different devices, getting approved on App Store and Google Play. Good QA is the difference between a smooth launch and disaster. Game soft launch, now the real work starts. You can make an amazing mobile game, but if nobody knows it exists, you're dead in the water. Publishers handle creative ads campaigns, influencer partnerships, running ads on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, optimizing your App Store page. They have connections and can spread the word way faster than you can alone. For mobile games, user acquisition is everything. Publishers run massive ad campaigns. They make the ads, test them, optimize them, scale them up, because you probably won't be able to have a few $100,000 each month to spend on ad campaigns to promote your game. If done right, they can take you from 10,000 downloads to 10 million. Launch strategy is critical. A good launch makes your game, the bad one kills it. Publishers know how to work with App Store and Google Play. And keeping players is the hard part. Publishers help you with live ops, new content updates, events. That is on your shoulders though, but they are actively giving you resources and their experience. This keeps your mobile game fresh and making money years after launch. Let me tell you about typical ways of working with mobile game publishers in 2025. Some publishers offer pay-per-prototype model. You get paid for each prototype you make, like I did in 2023, but it's less and less common nowadays as it's not very beneficial for publishers. Another model is you as studio work without any support, so you have to rely on your own funds, but the publisher invests in user acquisition campaigns to scale your game, and then they take 50 to 60% of the profits the game gets. The rest is yours. This is becoming the most common model. Another model is that the publisher pays your studio a burn rate or a salary that supports your studio while developing the game, but it's also getting less and less common. In this case, you get around 30% of profits and the publisher takes the rest. There is some mix of these approaches as well, but overall, publishers prefer a studio that can pay its own bills and only invest in the user acquisition campaigns, as it's the least risky for them. Normally, the publisher gets paid back first. All early revenue goes to them until they've made back what they spent. After that, you split profits. Smart publishers build a catalog, multiple mobile games earning money over time. Even old games keep bringing in cash if they are still popular. Big question: do you even need one? If you can handle marketing and distribution yourself and have money for user acquisition, self-publish. You keep all the profits after store fees. This works great for small mobile games. But if you are building something bigger or want to reach more players, a publisher helps. You probably need one if you need money to finish the game, you want to scale marketing but can't afford hundreds of thousands in user acquisition spend. You're in a competitive market or you want to focus on making the game, not running ad campaigns. From my experience, having publishers handle distribution for my older games brings passive income. Working with publishers on new prototypes can get you paid while developing. If you decide to work with a publisher, pick carefully. Check their games, look at what they've published. Similar to yours? Did those games do well on app stores? Know what they offer. Some just handle user acquisition. Others do everything: funding, marketing, user acquisition, live ops, testing. Look for transparency. Money should be clear. Revenue splits, payment schedules, who owns what. Talk to other devs. Ask them, were they supportive? Did they deliver on promises? Would you work with them again? Multiple devs say no? Red flag. Not everyone needs one, but for many of us, the right publisher is the difference between getting buried and blowing up. From my experience, I've had publishers that just distribute my games and bring passive income. And I've worked with publishers building games from scratch, getting paid for prototypes. Both models work, just differently. If you work with a mobile game publisher, drop a comment. By the way, I have a Patreon now, so if you'd like to see some other stuff that I share there, be sure to check it out. And subscribe for more game dev stuff. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.